suspect arrested in fatal shooting of 16-year-old girl. Reina de Pizar, a 16-year-old girl from East La Penitence, succumbed to injuries sustained from a stray bullet while sitting on a motorcycle with a friend on Mango Lane, East Ruimveldt, on July 21, 2025. She passed away yesterday at the Georgetown Public Hospital, where she had been receiving treatment in the intensive care unit. Authorities have arrested 18-year-old Travel Daniels Hammer, a resident of Trench Road, East La Penitence, in connection with the shooting. Investigations indicate that on the night of the incident, Reina and her friend were parked on a motorcycle when Hammer allegedly drove up in a white Fielder wagon, registration number PYY 2896. After exiting the vehicle with a handgun, he confronted another motorcyclist nearby, leading to a misunderstanding. During this confrontation, a shot was fired, striking Reina in the neck. Following the incident, she fell to the ground, and police arrived to transport her to the hospital, where she underwent surgery but ultimately succumbed to her injuries. Hammer was apprehended early on July 25, 2022, around 1 a.m. on Mandela Avenue, still in the vehicle linked to the shooting. He was informed of the allegations against him, arrested, and searched, but no firearm was recovered. A gunpowder residue test was conducted, and he remains in custody as the investigation continues. Tragic death of Speedboat Captain Lakeram Ramhuju. Lakeram Ramhuju, a 20-year-old speedboat captain and father, tragically succumbed to injuries on Thursday, for days after being brutally beaten in Puruni, Region 7. The incident occurred on Sunday night, where Lakeram lived and worked. His brother, Karen Ramhuju, explained that tensions escalated after Lakeram had offered one of his boats to a man who repeatedly failed to pay for its use. Karen detailed that after taking back the boat, the situation turned violent on July 18, when the man attacked Lakeram at Puruni Landing. Following the altercation, Lakeram filed a police report, and the suspect agreed to pay him $100,000 within a week. On the night of July 21, events escalated further. Karen recounted that the suspect threw a glass bottle at Lakeram, causing him to fall. The assailant then picked up a piece of wood and began striking Lakeram in the head. Lakeram suffered multiple skull fractures, with fragments lodged in his brain, leading to severe hemorrhages. He slipped into a coma immediately after the attack and never regained consciousness. He died this morning Thursday, Karen said, expressing the deep sorrow of the family. The suspect has reportedly admitted to the attack and is currently in custody at the Bartica police station, with the case forwarded to the Director of Public Prosecutions, DPP, for further action. Karen remembered Lakeram as a hardworking individual who had been providing for his family. He was the father of a 2-year-old daughter, and his untimely death has devastated the family, especially their grandmother, who raised them after their mother passed away when they were toddlers. "My grandmother hasn't stopped crying," Karen added, reflecting the profound loss felt by the family. Man remanded for murder following long absence. Nicholas Johnson, known as Suga, a 25-year-old heavy-duty machine operator, has been remanded to prison after being charged with the murder of 31-year-old Colleen Tony. The incident occurred on February 20, 2024, in number 53 Village, Quarantine. Johnson appeared before Magistrate Tuana Hardy at the Springlands Magistrates Court on Thursday. He was not required to plead to the indictable charge. According to reports, the confrontation began as a verbal altercation over a phone and escalated into a physical fight, during which Johnson allegedly fatally stabbed Tony. Following the attack, Johnson fled the scene on a motorcycle. Tony was found lying on the ground with severe injuries and was rushed to the Skeldon Public Hospital, where he later succumbed to his wounds. 17 months after the incident, Johnson surrendered to the Springlands police station with an attorney, marking the end of his time in hiding. He is represented by attorneys Chandra Sohan and Adrian Anamayaha. The case has been transferred to the number 51 Magistrates Court, with the next hearing set for August 27, 2025. While in custody, police informed Johnson that he had been sentenced to 51 months in prison for felonious wounding of Andrea Greaves, a sentence issued in his absence by Magistrate Robindranath Singh. Johnson is also facing additional charges, including rape, reckless driving, and multiple counts of assault, following commitments by Magistrate Ranita Singh to stand trial in the High Court. Lebert Todd sentenced for narcotics possession. Lebert Todd, a 33-year-old construction worker from Lot 3 Middle Walk, was arrested on July 20, 2025, and charged on July 23 with possession of narcotics for the purpose of trafficking. Todd appeared before His Worship Mr. Sunil Scarce at the Vigilance Magistrate Court, where the charge was read to him. He pleaded guilty and received a 6-month suspended sentence. Details regarding the circumstances of the arrest and the specific narcotics involved have not been disclosed. Todd's suspended sentence means he will not serve time unless he commits another offense during the suspension period. Shaka Phillips charged with murder of Linden schoolteacher remanded. Shaka Phillips, a 21-year-old laborer known as Concrete Man, was arrested on July 20, 2025, and charged today with the murder of Jenel Polidor, a 26-year-old teacher from Lower Karakara, Mackenzie, Linden. Phillips appeared via Zoom at the Linden Magistrates Court before Senior Magistrate Ms. Rondell Weaver. During the hearing, the charge was formally read to him. He was not required to enter a plea, and bail was denied, resulting in his remand to prison. The incident leading to the charge occurred on July 19, 2025, in Central Amelia's ward, Linden. The case has been adjourned to August 28, 2025, for further proceedings and disclosure. Details surrounding the circumstances of the murder remain under investigation as the community grapples with the shocking news. I will not accept my presidential salary as Azruddin Mohamed. At a recent rally in Region 3, presidential candidate Azruddin Mohamed delivered a passionate speech to a crowd of enthusiastic supporters, emphasizing his commitment to addressing the socio-economic challenges facing Guyanese citizens. In a bold move, he stated, he will not be accepting a presidential salary, quoting, "This will be the first time in the history of Guyana someone will be refusing a salary." He stated the salary will go towards the people. During his address, Mohamed expressed the widespread dissatisfaction with the current government, citing 5 years of corruption, promises, lies, and victimization. He assured attendees that, should he be elected, they would have a government that prioritizes the needs of the people, promising to invite the FBI to investigate unsolved murders in the region. He reiterated that his campaign is focused on community needs, emphasizing, "This party is not about me. It's about the people." Mohamed pledged to increase public servants' salaries by 50% and to provide significant cash grants for families and pensioners, highlighting the financial struggles many face. Mohamed, who has a history of supporting educational institutions, shared his plans to enhance benefits for teachers and address the needs of schools. He recounted his past efforts to assist schools with supplies, stating, "I will increase your salaries. Rest assured on this one." He also proposed a Because We Care cash grant of $100,000 for families, aimed at alleviating financial burdens. For pensioners, he promised an increase from $41,000 to $100,000, ensuring that funds are distributed locally to avoid long travels for collection. The candidate highlighted the need for improved infrastructure, particularly housing, and criticized the current administration for its handling of public services. He pledged to reduce housing costs by 40% and to set up a committee to provide free housing for vulnerable populations. Mohamed emphasized his disdain for the corruption he claims plagues the current government, asserting that a significant portion of the national budget is misappropriated. Every year, 25 to 30% of the budget goes into their pockets, he stated, vowing to invest in the people instead. Concluding his speech, Mohamed called for unity among all ethnic groups in Guyana, branding his party as the only multi-ethnic party in this country. He urged his supporters to be vigilant and proactive in the upcoming elections, emphasizing the importance of voting early and ensuring their voices are heard. "God is in charge," he affirmed, thanking the audience for their prayers and support as he rallied for their vote in the upcoming elections. VP Jagdeo dismisses Azruddin Mohamed's salary claims as laughable. Newsroom reports, Vice President Dr. Jagdeo has ridiculed claims made by U.S.-sanctioned businessman Azruddin Mohamed that he would refuse a presidential salary if elected. At a public meeting in Parfait Harmony, Mohamed told supporters he would instead donate his salary to charity. However, during a media briefing on Thursday, Jagdeo dismissed this promise as hollow. So he says he won't take a salary, but this is a man who evaded $11 billion in taxes. He hasn't served a single day in government yet. He's already collected the equivalent of 275 years of a presidential salary, Jagdeo stated. Jagdeo accused Mohamed of enriching himself through gold smuggling and tax evasion, noting that even the duties avoided on his luxury Lamborghini exceed 10 years of a president's salary. He characterized Mohamed's assertion as a sham, questioning the credibility of someone under U.S. sanctions for gold smuggling while claiming to fight corruption. It's insulting that someone sanctioned by the United States now parades himself as a champion of clean governance, Jagdeo said. He emphasized the irony of Mohamed, whom he labeled the most corrupt person in this country, being the loudest critic of corruption. Jagdeo pointed out the severe consequences of Mohamed's sanctions, stating, "He can't even have a bank account anywhere in the world because of international sanctions." Mohamed was sanctioned by the U.S. Treasury Department last year for alleged involvement in transnational gold smuggling, fraud, and other illicit activities, which he has vehemently denied. Jagdeo urged the public to see through what he called cheap stunts and empty talk. VP Jagdeo defends bank account closures linked to U.S. sanctions. Newsroom reports. In a recent press conference, Vice President Dr. Jagdeo addressed the closure of bank accounts belonging to candidates associated with Azruddin Mohamed's political party, WIN. Jagdeo emphasized that local banks and the private sector must take U.S. sanctions seriously to avoid being cut off from the global financial system. Jagdeo confirmed that former Permanent Secretary May Thomas, who was sanctioned alongside Mohamed, had her accounts closed by both Citizens Bank and Republic Bank. He stated that several candidates from Mohamed's party have also faced account closures, with more banks expected to follow suit. These people take it lightly, but the reality is our local banks are part of the global financial system. They have to comply with sanctions or they risk losing access to correspondent banking relationships, Jagdeo warned. He explained that any financial institution handling money for individuals under OFAC sanctions would be flagged for enhanced scrutiny. The vice president criticized Mohamed's camp for downplaying the situation, saying that candidates linked to sanctioned individuals are at heightened risk. No bank is going to risk millions in fines or their shareholders' future just to keep an account, he added. Jagdeo also highlighted the implications for the private sector, referencing concerns raised by the U.S. ambassador regarding Mohamed's participation in local elections. He cautioned that U.S. companies, such as those involved in the Vredenhoop Shore Base project, could face risks due to entanglements with sanctioned individuals. Mohamed and Thomas were sanctioned last year for alleged involvement in significant gold smuggling and corruption schemes, accusations that Mohamed has publicly denied. Despite the financial pressures, he continues to pursue his political ambitions. Jagdeo urged local businesses and banks not to jeopardize their futures for what he described as the reckless ambitions of a sanctioned individual, emphasizing, "Nobody should risk the future of an entire bank or this country's reputation just to please one man who's under international sanctions." VP Jagdeo warns supporters of opposition's master plan. Vice President and General Secretary of the People's Progressive Party Civic, PPP/C, Jagdeo, has issued a warning to supporters about what he describes as a master plan by the opposition and U.S.-sanctioned businessman Azruddin Mohamed to undermine the ruling party's position in Parliament. Addressing supporters on Thursday, Jagdeo highlighted concerns over alleged backdoor deals between the opposition parties, specifically the APNU and AFC, and Mohamed, who was sanctioned by the U.S. last year. He warned that their goal is to drag the PPP/C below the crucial 50% threshold needed for a majority. They want to take this country back to the days of minority government, like in 2011 when the PPP had the presidency but couldn't get anything done. That's their hope, Jagdeo stated. He cited comments from AFC executive David Patterson, who acknowledged ongoing discussions about potential alliances. Jagdeo interpreted this as clear evidence of plans to collaborate with unsavory partners. Anyone but the PPP, that's what they're saying, he remarked, criticizing Patterson for being willing to align with someone like Mohamed, whom he labeled a security risk. Jagdeo also accused certain segments of the media of being complicit in efforts to diminish the PPP's support, suggesting that they amplify opposition narratives while downplaying the party's achievements. He referenced the recent APNU press conference, where the opposition leader deflected questions about allegations that Mohamed is paying people to vote. It shows they don't care about the risks Mohamed poses. All they care about is unseating the PPP at any cost, he asserted. Jagdeo warned that a return to minority government could lead to political gridlock and stagnation, recalling the challenges faced during previous minority rule. They are obsessed with hate for the PPP, even if it means Guyanese suffer again, he said. To counteract these perceived threats, Jagdeo announced that the PPP/C is training over 3,000 polling agents to ensure the integrity of the upcoming elections, reinforcing their commitment to delivering for the people of Guyana. Wendy's set to open first restaurant in Guyana. Wendy's, one of the world's most recognized quick-service restaurant brands, is set to open its first location in Guyana this August. The announcement comes following a franchise agreement signed with Wendy Incorporated, which will bring Wendy's signature offerings, including square hamburgers, spicy chicken sandwiches, chicken nuggets, and frosty treats, to local customers. The inaugural restaurant will be located on Vlissingen Road in Georgetown, featuring a modern dining experience with drive-through service, dine-in seating, and delivery options. Wendy Incorporated has ambitious plans to open a total of 3 Wendy's restaurants in Guyana by the end of this year. As part of a broader market expansion, there are also plans for new Wendy's locations in Suriname. Amon Khan Cummings, the franchisee and founder of Wendy Incorporated, expressed excitement about the venture, stating, "We've long admired Wendy's for its commitment to quality, innovation, and hospitality. Bringing this beloved brand to Guyana, our home, is incredibly exciting. We look forward to serving fresh, made-to-order meals and building strong community relationships through this new venture." The opening of Wendy's in Guyana marks a significant milestone in the company's journey to extend its reach throughout Latin America. As a 100% Guyanese-owned company, Wendy Incorporated is dedicated to transforming the local dining landscape by introducing world-class food brands to Guyana and the wider region. Jagdeo highlights government achievements ahead of elections. At a press conference held at Freedom House, Vice President and General Secretary of the People's Progressive Party, PPP, Jagdeo, asserted that many promises made by rival parties in the upcoming elections have already been fulfilled by the current government. Jagdeo emphasized the PPP's commitment to delivering on its promises, stating that the administration has not only met expectations but has, in many cases, exceeded them. He cited significant investments in the education and health sectors, pointing to the positive outcomes already being realized. "We don't wait until a manifesto launch. We've been working on this for a while. In education, I'm looking forward to what else they'll promise. It includes better training for our teachers and increased wages. In healthcare, we've modernized our services, upgraded hospitals, and ensured better access to medical supplies," Jagdeo said. Additionally, he outlined plans for a development bank aimed at supporting small and medium-sized businesses and farmers, reinforcing the government's commitment to boosting economic activity. Jagdeo also referred to the PPP's plans for housing, mentioning that the government aims to deliver 50,000 house lots as part of its development strategy. He highlighted the significant investment of $300 billion required to prepare these lots and the infrastructure involved. "We've worked with the banking sector to lower mortgage rates and make loans more affordable," he added, underscoring the administration's efforts to improve living conditions for citizens. The PPP has been actively presenting its re-election plans at various rallies and public meetings, with materials outlining their vision for the next 5 years already available to the public. Jagdeo criticizes Azruddin Mohamed's anti-corruption claims. Vice President and General Secretary of the People's Progressive Party, PPP, Jagdeo, has labeled businessman and presidential candidate for the Win Party, Azruddin Mohamed, as the most corrupt person in Guyana. Jagdeo dismissed Mohamed's claims of tackling corruption should he win the upcoming elections. Jagdeo pointed to Mohammed's history, stating, "Imagine a man sanctioned for gold smuggling by the United States, accused of money laundering and drug smuggling, and implicated in serious crimes, talking about fighting corruption." He criticized Mohammed's approach, suggesting that his proposed solutions would involve integrating criminals into government to eliminate corruption. Jagdeo's comments come as the Win party gains traction ahead of the elections. He highlighted the historical ties between the Mohammeds and the PPP, noting that they had previously donated significantly to the party until their relationship soured around the time U.S. sanctions were imposed in June 2024. The Mohammeds have been sanctioned for corruption and smuggling. No bank will do business with them anywhere in the world, and they're talking about fighting corruption, Jagdeo added, questioning the credibility of Mohammed's campaign. Jagdeo also challenged the Win party to provide concrete details about its plans rather than vague talking points, asserting that their proposals lack substance. The exchange between the two sides reflects heightened tensions as the elections approach. Tribute paid to Trevor Daly, GPSU second vice president, following fatal accident. The Guyana Public Service Union, GPSU, has honored Trevor Daly, its second vice president and a veteran air traffic controller, who tragically died in a road accident earlier this month. Daly, 51, succumbed to spinal injuries sustained when his vehicle struck an unmarked log on the Heroes Highway on July 10, 2025. According to reports from Demarawaves, Daly remained trapped in his vehicle for hours until a passerby came to his aid at sunrise, subsequently calling for police and emergency medical technicians. He was rushed to the Diamond Regional Hospital and later transferred to the Georgetown Public Hospital for emergency treatment. Despite efforts to save him, Daly passed away on July 13th. The GPSU described Daly as a dedicated son of the soil and highlighted his extensive career in aviation, which began in 1990 after graduating from Orleans High School. Over his 34 years as an air traffic controller, he played a crucial role in ensuring the safety of air traffic in Guyana's airspace. The union noted the irony of his tragic passing on the road, given his lifelong commitment to safety in aviation. In addition to his role at the Guyana Civil Aviation Authority, where he was unit chief of air navigation services, Daly served in various capacities within the GPSU, including organizing secretary and projects officer. He was also the union's communications officer, responsible for its social media presence and website. The GPSU expressed profound grief at Daly's passing, stating, "His death has caused widespread grief and disbelief throughout the union's membership. He was well respected and loved by all." The statement emphasized his readiness to support fellow union members and his passion for improving working conditions. Daly's funeral took place on July 21, 2025. The union plans to honor his legacy by continuing the work he passionately engaged in throughout his career. Trevor has given 34 years of professional service to Guyana. His sense of humor, insight, and tranquil demeanor in tumultuous situations will be missed by all, the GPSU concluded in their tribute.